Hi, I'm Jane King, and get ready for the New to the Street Sustainable segment with the Sustainable Green Team CEO Tony Rayner and team. Take a closer look at problems and the possible solutions as they strive with their partners to bring sustainable products to stores across America. Here we go.
Exciting news from SGTM. A new shipment of waterless garden has just arrived.
So if you take a look at the hundreds of millions of tons of food waste that's being wasted every year in America, this is just a food off the table that's being thrown away. Hazardous trees, a hurricane blows through, a tornado, a windstorm, it's going into a landfill, it's releasing greenhouse gases. Companies all around the world are composting. They think they're doing the right thing, but what they're really doing is they're hurting the environment. Those gases are being released. So SGTM, its purpose and its mission is to combat these fertilizers and pesticides and all these nasty things that are causing cancer. They're causing a very unhealthy planet. Our mission really is to take these wastes that are all over the world and to transform them into valuable nutrient. So right here in just one location, 100 acres, Asatula, in our facility we have 2 million cubic yards. If you take a look at a cubic yard is 27 1 cubic foot bags, or it's 400 2-quart bags. So at the end of the day, we have enough product, which is much larger than the Empire State Building, $300 million in retail value humus for our waterless garden already manufactured, ready to go into a bag. That only represents 10% of our overall feedstock that we have. Now, partnering with companies all throughout the U.S., transforming their waste into nutrient, we'll be able to get this product in every single household in the nation, and this product will be a global brand that will be across the planet. Just in America alone, 40 million acres are turf. So this is good for your lawn, this is your turf, it's good for your garden. And now think about this, with every one of these bags that we sell, we're gonna be able to give something back. The American farmer's hurting. The American farmers, they're committing suicide. They're in a process that's broken. And this company, we're disruptive. We're gonna break that, and we are gonna transform an industry, and we're gonna do it globally. We're starting right here, and we have the team, we have the technology, we have the agronomists, the science, and we have the best that money could possibly buy to put together. The team, we have the infomercial king, Kevin Harrington. Think about it, Kevin Harrington, Shark Tank. How many products has he launched? I don't think there's another human being in the US that's ever launched as many products as he has, and he loves it. Kevin loves this product. He knows the winner, he only involves himself with the winner. So I'm excited to say Kevin being a part of this, and Bobby Mann of Mann Marketing. This guy has launched so many thousands of products, he's gotten behind it. He only gets behind winners. So if you take a good attorney that wants to do a contingency case, they don't take cases that they think they're gonna lose. They take cases that they know that they're gonna win. And this case is a winner. And what we are battling up against is it's definitely an addiction, it's an issue, and our planet is plagued by it. 50% of the world's agricultural land is destroyed. Man has destroyed land, and we have the right disruptive technology and the right ingredient and the right team to combat that. And so we're calling on all composters across the nation. We're calling on to work with farmers, and what we're able to do with the households will make a big difference. When you have the right nutrients with humus-rich product that holds moisture, and with our special technology, we actually manufacture water. So lawns are going to use less water. This is going to help in a drought situation. We're going to break the back of using chemicals and fertilizer. This is going to be a transformation like we've never seen before. Talking about a transformation of wealth, you know what real wealth is to me? Being healthy. It doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank, it's really your health. And if you continue to put chemical fertilizers into your body and into the ground, it's not just us, it's the generations ahead. So what we're doing is going to be transformational for our children, their children, and their children. This is a legacy. This is the opportunity to be a part of something that is so much bigger than ourselves. So here we are, we're launching this waterless garden. It's going to be a household name that will never be forgotten, the Waterless Garden. Remember that. You'll see the different individuals that are joining our team. Paul Hibbert with Wicked Tuna. You're talking about a gardener. You're talking about somebody who cares about the planet. We're partnering and lining ourselves with the right people at the right time. Jimmy Houston, come on, America's #1 loved fisherman across the globe. And you know what? Right now you can see him on the Times Square every 12 minutes this month. You know why? Because we're making awareness. We're letting the world know that we mean business. And you're gonna see more and more people stepping up to the plate, and you're gonna hear waterless garden, waterless garden, waterless garden. And you know what? You're gonna be able to pick up your phone, you're gonna go right on that thing, and you're gonna say, before you even finish putting less, when you put water in, you're gonna find us, because it's gonna go viral. And you're gonna be able to go on Amazon, and we're gonna have millions of bags every month. And when you go on here and you see Kevin Harrington, and you see Tony Rayner, and you see Jimmy Houston, and you see Paul, and you see the rest of the team talking about it, let me just tell you something. People are proud. People love to grow. And when they see this, they're gonna be growing, and we're gonna have people all around the world posting, and it's gonna go viral. And you're gonna order this stuff, and it's gonna show up at your doorstep, and you're gonna be able to enjoy gardening at home. Gardening in your backyard. Put on your seatbelt, hold on, because we're gonna go for a ride.
Is your garden struggling to stay hydrated? Meet Waterless Garden, the organic solution that saves water and boosts your garden's health. Packed with humus materials and trillions of beneficial microbes, Waterless Garden improves soil structure and increases water retention. Use less water, get better results, and watch your garden thrive. Waterless Garden. Less water, more life.
You may see me in Times Square, New York, doing interviews in the NASDAQ. Yeah, you may see me in a suit, but really where my real office is and where I enjoy to be is right here in the great outdoors. That's why I love working with guys like Jimmy Houston and Paul. You know, these are the backbone of America are the ones that really get it, that really believe in conservation. They believe in watching out for our waterways and doing the right thing. But if you take a look at what we're dealing with here, this is a huge issue for landfills. Material that's getting wasted and releasing greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. Well, we changed that. SGTM, this right here is valuable inventory. This is what we make the waterless garden out of. This is how the living mulch is made. We take in this raw material and it comes in from every which way. Whether it's a landscaper, a tree company, a hurricane blows through, a tornado, a windstorm, and we look at this as a valuable nutrient. It's almost like a gold rush. I call it a tree rush because we're making black gold out of what some would say is trash, some would may bury into a landfill. Instead, we capture the nutrients. We put our secret sauce into it, our technology, and we make black gold. And I call it humus. Humus is that rich nutrient product that we put into our waterless garden. That's the base. Now, of course, in this video, you're gonna be able to see other locations that we have, Callahan facility where we manufacture, or you're gonna be able to see our Jacksonville facility where we manufacture ingredients. But here's where we collect it. This is where the machine happens. And this is where it comes in, and it may just be a landscaper. It may be a homeowner, or it may just simply be a tree company that says, hey, I got a hazardous tree. It has to come down. Well, it's got to go somewhere. And we have a special process with our team, and we've been doing this for a long time. One of our subsidiaries has been around for 40 years. They were one of the first companies to innovate putting colored mulch in a bag into a convenience store. And that same innovative spirit you'll see through other videos with John Spencer, mulch manufacturing. We took that same technology, the same machines, that same innovative spirit, and we added the SGTM principles of using technology to transform those mulch products into it. So now we have something that's very disruptive, and we are able to transform waste into nutrients, and the mulch product is full of microbes as well to hold the moisture and the nutrients in and to release even more. So it's almost like a pharmaceutical breakthrough for the plant and the ground. Healthy soil, healthy people, you're gonna have a healthy planet. And so I think we've got a good little start here, but we are just getting started. growing up, I was that young boy that had Tonka toys. You know, a little dump truck and that little front end loader. Who would have known that one day I would grow up and those actual Tonka toys that I played with, those little visions that I had as a little boy, would become a reality. And now we have these big Tonka toys, and that's what it takes to break the stuff down. A machine like this, 1,000 horsepower, you got to be able to break it down. You take the waste, you grind it, you put it into that first pass, and then you take our other technology and we adhere the liquid catalyst to the wood fiber, and then we cover the pile, and then the magic begins to happen underneath there. And those microbes begin to do their work. And as they're doing their work, it's a little bit different than the typical composting where you got to turn the pile over constantly with the front end loader. What does that do? That costs a lot of money. Man, you got to spend so much money and time. And then you have spontaneous combustional fire issues. Google fire and compost and look at how many pages come up. I tell you right now, you're going to find out it's a whole bunch. I know about fighting fires because I have been in the composting business before, and I no longer will do it again. And with our technology, we take the fire hazard out, and instead of flipping the piles, we let Microman do it for us. When Microman gets done and we open up that pile 6 months later, we have black gold. And what we do is a little bit different than others. We like to do that first process first and to break it down into a mulch form so that it gives it a quicker jump start on what it has to do. And we're really good at it. 40 years of manufacturing mulch, you begin to, you learn a lot of tricks, you find out a lot of different ways that you can do it. And you know, there's so many other ways to be efficient, whether you're using a grinder or a stacker, you're moving the product. The less times that you have to handle it, the more that you put into the front end, the better you're gonna have. So the better outcome, I believe, if you make a good deposit, you're gonna have a good withdrawal. So we've learned how to do that. We're making a lot of deposits here, we're building up, and we believe that we got a lot of seed in the ground so that we can work on having a really good harvest. And that's what we're gonna be showing in a lot of these videos and what you're gonna see on Bloomberg TV, Fox, Business, and we're gonna be streaming also and different platforms. And what you're gonna be able to see is an incredible team. We're gonna show you the talent. You're gonna meet the people behind the scenes because these assets are great. You know, what we're doing to being disruptive is wonderful. But when you get to meet the people behind this machine, you're gonna find out you're only as strong as your team. And when you have a team of agronomists and scientists and marketing experts, you know, and visionaries all coming together, it's one thing for me to have that idea like a young man that takes that Tonka toy and says, oh, Daddy, one day I want to have this. And then later on, I spoke it in and it ended up happening. Well, then you get to the war room and you begin to build a blueprint. You have a vision that says, hey, if this is going to work like this is what we're going to do. But on this journey, what you're going to be able to see is us actually doing it. You're going to see us building factories, partnering with farmers. You're going to see us launching product lines because you know what? We're actually really happy and excited about what we're doing, and we want the world to know about it because the only way that we believe that we're going to make a transformational change across this globe is we need help. This can't be done alone. SGTM is definitely an incredible company with an incredible vision, but that vision is to partner and to have partnerships. You know, shareholders that come in that believe into sustainability, doing the right thing. So you can be a part of this, whether you're investing into the company or whether you're joining our team, partnering, utilizing our technology. We want to make it available for anybody that has a waste issue that wants to make a difference with our planet. The white tarps of these big piles, that's about 150,000 cubic yards of finished humus-rich waterless garden product. But what I'm standing on here and behind me, this is about 275,000 cubic yards. So if you take 150 and 275, that's just in partial finished product and the next phase. And the hardest part of making the product really is the first pass. That first initial pass of breaking down the organics. But if you've been doing it for 40 years, it's really not too difficult. We can really help out somebody that's maybe just getting into it. All of that waste that you see in the video and these piles that are mountained up and it turns into this, goes into the process in the tarp, and that's when we make the humus. We have multiple facilities where we're doing it, but ultimately right here on this site, this is 100 acres of land. We have the first pass ready to go to the next phase into making it into the humus. All of the waste that you see here, it's going to be our flagship product is the waterless garden, but we also are going to have our deer soil. We have proprietary mixes that we add to the base, which is a humus, and then one of the byproducts we have is the living mulch. So when all this product breaks down, there's little pieces that don't always break down perfectly down to the bottom. So right before we put in the bag, we throw it through one little screener, and the little pieces of wood that we have that are left over, they're still charged, they still have microbes, and it's really beautiful, by the way. That becomes living mulch. And so that's a byproduct that we offer. And so there's a lot of different products that are out there in the market, but there's nothing like the waterless garden. There's nothing like the living mulch in this process. We're excited to be able to bring you guys behind the scenes to see what we're doing. And this is going to be a journey. You're going to be able to see episode after episode. And not only are you going to see what, like we're talking about today, these piles and this and that, you're actually going to see the team in action, breaking it down. You're going to be part of the journey of seeing the product being broken down, put in a bag, some of the science behind the scene, and being able to understand the makeup of what this product is and what it can do. Then we're also going to go out in the field and we're going to meet with farmers. And we're going to be doing test plots, and you're going to be seeing transformational power of using microbes. And as you go through this journey, you're going to see my little buddy here, the Micro Man. Micro Man, he is really going to be the celebrity, I believe, of what we're doing, because really the transformational power of microbes is what we are working with here. When you use synthetic fertilizers and you're using pesticides, what are you doing? You're killing Micro Man. And so we're on a mission to save soil, to save this planet, and to produce clean soil, clean food, healthy planet, and we're going to use Micro Man to do it. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on TikTok, follow us on every different social media and YouTube, and enjoy these videos. Share them. Make sure that, man, if you like this, you have any interest whatsoever, make sure you actually take this and repost it on your site. Tell your friends about it. Tell your family about it, because you know how we're going to get this thing out there. We got to talk about it. We got to get out there and we got to make this a movement. Sustainability, it's a word that's thrown around all the time, and a lot of people just use it as a word. But the Sustainable Green Team, we actually do have a purpose and a mission, and sustainability is in our core. Is taking something that would normally go and be wasted and repurposing it and using it to the benefit of mankind. Humanity, humus, rich soil. How are we going to make this happen? We're going to have to come together. So make sure that you take these videos and share them. And remember, like Jimmy Houston would say, we love you.
Do not fear, Microbe Man is here. SGTM's Microbe Man is here to restore your soil and health. Healthy soil, healthy food, healthy people.
Previously, legendary fisherman Jimmy Houston took on the ultimate gardening challenge. 8 tomato plants were planted under the blazing Oklahoma sun in punishing 100-degree heat. 4 in regular soil and 4 in the revolutionary waterless garden. Almost 3 months after this brutal torture test began. The question is, which plants are thriving and which are struggling to survive? Let's dive in and see what's happening.
Hey guys and gals, let's take what is very likely my last trip to the garden. We'll probably come up here and check it a time or two, but my last trip to the garden for this winter, because here it is, the middle of October. We've not had a frost, but we got one promised. It's supposed to get down to 39 degrees tonight, 37 degrees tomorrow night, and then be back up in the 80s next week. Got a cold front coming in right now, and so you can look in the background. You can see laying on the ground some watermelons back there, looks like. And we're going to go ahead and take a look, see what we've got. This was an amazing test. This is about, well, we planted these the last week in July, so it's had August and September and a little bit of time here in October to grow. The watermelons are probably not going to get large enough because we're going to get this frost and probably going to kill everything. But we're going to go take a look at it. Will also go take a look at the tomatoes. We've got tomatoes on our vines, and see if we've ever got a tomato on the vine that was planted in the regular soil and not in the humus soil, waterless garden. Waterless garden we put up here, and planted some watermelon seeds. Now just seeds, not plants, just seeds. And amazing things happen. Y'all have been watching that. So we're going to look in there and see. I've been gone about 8 or 9 days, so we're going to see what's happened. Probably been, well, it's over a week, maybe 2 weeks since I've been here. And because this will probably be the last time we look where things are really alive, because the frost probably going to knock them in the head. Let's go in there and see what we got. This little garden project has proven to me all that I need to know about the waterless garden and humus soil. You see what is up there, up a couple feet high? Those are volunteer okra. That is volunteer okra. You can see we got okras right here. Okras on there, pretty good size okras, as a matter of fact. And this is all volunteer okra. And now we're going to get that frost probably tonight, so our watermelons are not going to get big enough. But we can look at the watermelons and see that that's just a little plant right there. It's not the greatest looking watermelon plant, but keep in mind that's been growing in 100-degree weather. And over here, and I want you to look at the size of the okra on this little plant. This is the first volunteer okra that came up. Those are big okra. Those okras are too big to eat right there. And if we just had a little time, if we had the time, the watermelons, we got a lot of watermelons. I'm talking about a lot of watermelons. If we had the time, the watermelons would get really, really big. You see some of them are pretty good size. A pretty good size one right there. So you look at the rest of the garden. Look at this right here. This row that we put humus soil on with a spreader. And then you take a look at the rest of the garden, and you see it's nothing but weeds. Nothing but weeds. Humus soil your garden this next spring, it's just going to be absolutely astounded, I think. This product is definitely the real deal. We planted these also the last week in July, just like we did the garden. And I think we planted these, I think maybe it's a day earlier than the garden. But again, it was over 100 degrees, 107, 108, 109 that day. And this plant right here was looking pretty ragged. Still doesn't look that great. I have been watering these, and I had this in just Twin Eagle Ranch dirt, and that's all. And these grew not nearly as large as the other ones. If you look down on the ridge of the building, you can count the ridges up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It goes up to about this 7th ridge, the very top of it here. It's just under that 7th ridge, so that's up there. That's the best plant. This plant's a really good looking plant over here, and a good one. This one's not too good. That one's looking really bad, and those two middle ones were looking bad. And so I actually come in here, even though I've been watering them, and I added some humus soil to them. You see the humus soil is still nice looking dirt there. Very good looking waterless garden humus soil. And it seemed to bring the plants back some, and he's been going a little bit. But the amazing thing, and I'll go look at those others over there. And how many deals did we count there a minute ago? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. So those are about a foot apart, roughly. Probably not quite a foot, maybe 10 inches. Let's just say. But now the thing about it, these are not as tall as the other one. They're not as big as round. The stems have not got as big as they did with humus soil. But the other thing is no tomatoes. Now I saw one tomato out here last night or early this morning. I came out and looked at them. I don't know where that little tomato is. It was a little guy. I think he was on this one plant right here. But only one tomato on these plants right here. And now we got that, perhaps the frost coming. It's supposed to be down to 37 degrees. There's a little tiny tomato right there. You see, I mean, that is a tiny one. And I thought I saw a different one than that. There may be one more I'm missing somewhere. But anyway, that's the only tomatoes. And we've actually had tomatoes on the other ones for a couple, 2 or 3 weeks over there. At least you'd have to go back and look and see. I guess that is the only one, and it's tiny, tiny, tiny. Okay, so remember we were about 7 ridges up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ridges up. We'll come over here and look at these other plants, and we can notice right off the bat we see tomatoes. You see tomatoes over here. Now, some of these are baby tomatoes, and some are going to be big tomatoes, so I don't know really what's what, but we can see also if we start at the bottom deal and count up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This plant up here is quite a bit higher. It goes quite a bit higher than that other one. That one there is about the same. But the big difference is fruit, vegetables. Tomato is both, I think, is counted as both. But you can see we got pretty nice sized tomatoes on there. Tomatoes getting red. These tomatoes right here. Now I don't know if they're going to make the night or not, but we've got quite a few tomatoes on this plant. These plants, I think every single plant here, maybe at least 3 of the 4, have got tomatoes on them, and they're growing and really doing well. And this must be this tomato here has turned turned red. I guess both of those have turned red, so those might be, they're still pretty solid. Those must be the baby tomatoes. But that's been the big difference, is these got tomatoes on them, and they grew about, probably we want to say about 30% larger. But you can see we got tomatoes in quite a few places that will just tell you that without a doubt the waterless garden did a lot better. I would mix waterless garden in your soil when you get ready to plant your gardens this fall. I mean next spring, this fall, if you're growing anything in the fall, in the winter, in the house, I would definitely get some waterless garden and mix in with your soil. I think that's one of the best ways to do it. That's what we did in this right here. This is not total waterless garden, and you can see how good it is. I mean, it's still great. It's got trillions of little microbes in it that go to work down there to produce water and restore the soil, make your soil better. You're going to have really beautiful gardens, really good, beautiful vegetables. They're going to grow quicker, bigger plants, bigger vegetables. Everything's just going to be better with humus soil. And you won't need to use any fertilizer. You won't need to use any fertilizer at all. Okay, guys and girls, that'll wrap this little video up right here. We'll see what the frost does. If the frost really happens, it's not supposed to really happen tonight, but it may happen tomorrow night. But we'll see what happens. But if we lose the plants and stuff in the garden and we lose the tomato plants, that's really okay, because we just really wanted it as a test anyhow. And the test has proven that humus soil is the real deal. It has proven it's the real deal. And if I get down to Florida in December to fishing, I'm going to try to take a little fishing trip down there for 4, 5, 6 days and do some shows in Florida. Been a couple of years since we did any television fishing shows in Florida. I'm going to try to get by the humus soil facilities, one of their places down there in Florida, where they've got about 100 acres of humus soil being made as we speak right now. Some of it already completed, ready. And kind of let you take a look at what that is down there, and it's just pretty impressive. We'll try to get down there and let's take a look at that. If you plan on doing any garden, plan on waterless garden. We've got deer soil, we've got waterless lawn, lots of different products that's going to be coming out. Just these products, we'll just roll them out over the next few months, and so come springtime, you're going to be good. Those of you that live in Florida can plant any time of the year. As soon as we get it, I'd get something planted and get it growing. You're going to love it. Go out there and have you a great one. Fish lucky. And remember, I sure do love you.
Is your garden struggling to stay hydrated? Meet Waterless Garden, the organic solution that saves water and boosts your garden's health. Packed with humus materials and trillions of beneficial microbes, Waterless Garden improves soil structure and increases water retention. Use less water, get better results, and watch your garden thrive. Waterless Garden, less water, more life.